Most people think intelligence reveals itself in public, in sharp debates, in impressive speeches, in quick answers. But psychology suggests something very different. The clearest signs of intelligence often appear when nobody is watching, not in performance, not in status, not in social approval, but in private habits. The things a man does completely alone may reveal more about his mind than anything he does in public. Today, we're exploring 8 behaviors highly intelligent men often display when no one is around. Some may seem strange, others may look ordinary, but together they reveal how an intelligent mind operates beneath the surface. 1. They talk to themselves. Imagine walking past a room and hearing someone having a full conversation with nobody. Many people immediately assume something is wrong. Psychology suggests the opposite. Research has shown that speaking thoughts aloud can improve concentration, memory, and problem solving. Highly intelligent men often use self-talk as a tool, not because they're lonely, not because they're eccentric, because language helps organize thought. The brain receives information in fragments, ideas, images, emotions, questions. When thoughts are spoken aloud, they become easier to structure. A difficult problem suddenly becomes clearer. A confusing situation starts making sense. What appears strange from the outside is often a form of cognitive optimization. They're not talking to themselves, they're thinking out loud. 2. They protect their solitude. One of the biggest misconceptions about intelligent people is that they dislike others. That's not necessarily true. Many highly intelligent men enjoy meaningful relationships. What they dislike is constant stimulation. Their minds are frequently occupied with ideas, projects, and questions that require uninterrupted attention. And attention is a limited resource. Research has found that highly intelligent individuals often gain less satisfaction from frequent social interaction than average. Not because they are antisocial, because their brains are naturally oriented toward independent exploration. While others seek constant connection, they often seek uninterrupted thinking. Solitude becomes a workspace, a laboratory, a place where ideas can develop without noise. To outsiders, it may look like isolation. To them, it feels like freedom. 3. They replay conversations in their heads. Hours after a conversation ends, many intelligent men are still thinking about it. Not because they're insecure, not because they're obsessed, because they're analyzing. A comment that seemed insignificant, a reaction they didn't fully understand, an argument that could have been expressed better. Their minds revisit the interaction and examine it from multiple angles. Psychologists call this metacognition, thinking about thinking, monitoring one's own reasoning processes. This habit allows them to identify blind spots, refine communication, and improve future decisions. While others move on immediately, they often continue extracting information long after the conversation is over. The discussion may have ended, but the analysis continues. 4. They feel more than they show. There's a popular stereotype that intelligent men are emotionally detached, cold, logical, unaffected. Reality is often very different. Many highly intelligent individuals experience emotions intensely. The difference is that they process those emotions internally. A piece of music may affect them deeply. An act of kindness may stay with them for days. An injustice may trigger profound frustration. Yet, outwardly, very little may be visible. Because intelligence often comes with heightened awareness, and awareness amplifies experience. The intelligent mind notices details others miss, and those details carry emotional weight. What appears calm on the surface may hide an entire storm of thoughts and feelings underneath. Their silence is often mistaken for indifference, but silence does not mean absence of emotion. Sometimes it means the emotion is too deep for easy expression. 5. They study things that seem completely unrelated. Highly intelligent men often become fascinated by subjects that have nothing to do with their careers. A programmer might spend weeks studying ancient history. An engineer may become obsessed with Renaissance art. A doctor may read books about philosophy. At first glance, it appears random, but intelligence thrives on connections. Innovation rarely emerges from staying inside one intellectual box. The most creative ideas often come from combining concepts that normally never meet. This is known as cognitive flexibility, the ability to move between different mental frameworks and connect distant ideas. The wider the knowledge base, the more opportunities the brain has to discover unexpected patterns. That's why intelligent people frequently explore subjects with no obvious practical benefit. They're feeding the machinery of creativity. 6. They challenge their own beliefs. Most people spend their lives defending what they already think. Highly intelligent men often do the opposite. They question themselves constantly. They ask difficult questions. What if I'm wrong? What evidence am I ignoring? Am I defending the truth or protecting my ego? This habit requires intellectual humility, the recognition that knowledge is always incomplete. The smarter someone becomes, the more aware they often become of how much remains unknown. Instead of seeking certainty, they seek accuracy, and accuracy requires self-correction. This internal debate rarely happens in public. It happens in silence, behind closed doors, where nobody is watching. 7. They observe more than they speak. Have you ever met someone who says very little, but somehow seems to understand everything happening in the room? Highly intelligent men often spend more time observing than reacting. While others are busy expressing opinions, they are gathering information, watching body language, tracking social dynamics, noticing inconsistencies, listening for what isn't being said. Observation creates understanding. Reaction consumes attention. This doesn't mean they are passive, it means they are strategic. They recognize that every conversation contains layers beneath the words, motives, emotions, status signals, hidden tensions. The person speaking the least is not always the person thinking the least. Often, it's the opposite. 8. They study their failures relentlessly. Failure affects everyone, but intelligent men often respond to failure differently. Instead of immediately moving on, they examine it, carefully, painfully, honestly. When nobody is around, they replay mistakes, not to punish themselves, but to learn. They ask questions others avoid. What caused this? Which assumptions were wrong? What warning signs did I miss? Psychologists refer to this as a growth-oriented mindset, the belief that mistakes contain valuable information. Highly intelligent individuals understand something most people resist. Failure is feedback. Every setback contains data. Every disappointment contains a lesson. The ego wants to protect self-image. Intelligence wants to understand reality. And reality is often hidden inside mistakes. Conclusion. So what does intelligence really look like? Not always confidence, not always charisma, not always success. Sometimes it looks like a man sitting alone, talking through a problem nobody else understands. Sometimes it looks like hours of reflection after a conversation everyone else has forgotten. Sometimes it looks like curiosity that refuses to stay inside one field, or the courage to question beliefs that feel comfortable. The truth is that intelligence is often invisible, because its most important work happens in private, when there is no audience, no applause, no recognition, only a mind attempting to understand itself and the world a little more clearly. And perhaps that's the biggest sign of intelligence of all, the willingness to keep learning, even when nobody is watching.